The chair slammed against the concrete floor as Michael fought with everything he had. The ropes around his wrists cut into his skin, but he didn't feel the pain anymore. All he felt was fear, because 30 feet in front of him, his wife and his son were hanging above two separate dark pits. "Sarah!" His wife's eyes opened slowly. "Sarah. Michael." Her voice broke. "Please, help us." Then he heard another voice. "Daddy." His 6-year-old son Ethan was crying. "Daddy, I'm scared." Michael's heart shattered. No, this can't be happening. He pulled against the ropes again. "Someone help! Please!" His screams disappeared into the empty warehouse. Then footsteps echoed from the darkness. Slow, calm. A man wearing a black mask walked into the light. Michael stared at him. "Who are you?" The masked man said nothing. He simply placed a small device on a table. A red number appeared on the screen. 60. Michael froze. The masked man looked directly at him. "You have 1 minute." "For what?" The man pointed at the two cages. "To choose." Michael's breathing stopped. Sarah looked confused. "What choice?" The man pressed a button. 2 words appeared on the screen. "Save your wife. Save your son." Michael felt like the room was spinning. "No!" The masked man walked closer. "1 button will open your wife's cage. 1 button will open your son's cage. The other person will fall." Sarah screamed. "No, this isn't real." The masked man looked at Michael. "It is." Ethan started crying harder. "Daddy, please don't let Mommy die." Sarah shook her head. "No, Ethan." She looked at Michael. "Save our son." Michael's eyes filled with tears. "Don't say that. Please don't say that." Sarah tried to stay strong. "He is our child. You have to protect him." Michael looked at Ethan. His little boy was shaking. "Daddy?" Michael closed his eyes. 7 years of memories rushed through his mind. The first time he held Ethan. The day Sarah told him she was pregnant. The nights they stayed awake together when Ethan was sick. They were his entire world, and now someone wanted him to destroy it. The timer continued. 52, 51, 50. The masked man watched silently. "You know what is interesting about humans?" Michael glared at him. "Shut up!" The man continued. "Everyone says they know what they would do in a difficult situation. But when death is standing in front of them, they discover who they really are." Michael pulled against the ropes. "Why us?" The masked man tilted his head. "You really don't remember?" Michael stopped. "What?" The man walked toward a large screen on the wall. "I have waited years for this moment." The screen turned on. A video began playing. Michael saw a road covered in rain. His face changed. "No!" The masked man noticed. "You remember now." Michael's stomach tightened. 7 years ago. The night that changed everything. The night of the accident. Michael had been driving home with Sarah. They were young. They were happy. They had no idea their lives were about to change forever. Another car crashed into them at an intersection. Their vehicle spun across the road. Glass shattered everywhere. Sarah was trapped inside. She was pregnant with Ethan. Michael remembered the smoke, the screaming, the fire. Then he remembered another sound, a man shouting for help from the other vehicle. The masked man stepped closer. My father. Michael looked at him. His voice became colder. My father was trapped in that car. I watched from the back seat. Michael's face went pale. No! I was only a child. I watched him call for help. The timer continued. 37, 36, 35. The masked man pointed at him, and you made a choice. Michael shook his head. I tried to save him. No. The man's voice became angry. You tried, but then you heard your wife. Michael looked away, because it was true. Sarah was screaming. The car was filling with smoke. She was bleeding. She needed him. He had seconds to decide. Save a stranger or save his pregnant wife? He chose Sarah. The other car exploded moments later. The masked man stepped closer. You chose your family. Michael whispered. I had no choice. The man laughed bitterly. Everyone says that after they choose. Sarah looked at Michael. Who is he? Michael didn't answer. He couldn't, because deep down he understood. This wasn't random. This was revenge. The timer dropped. 27, 26, 25. The masked man pressed another button. A photo appeared on the screen. A man, a woman, a little girl. My family. His voice cracked. You took them away from me. Michael looked at the picture. I'm sorry. The masked man's eyes narrowed. Sorry? Do you know how many nights I begged for someone to tell me why? Do you know what it feels like to lose everyone in one moment? Michael lowered his head. Yes. The man became quiet. Michael looked at him. I know what it feels like to almost lose everything. I know what it feels like to hold someone you love while they are dying. But killing my family won't bring yours back. For the first time, the masked man hesitated. Then the timer flashed. 17, 16, 15. The moment of hesitation disappeared. You don't get to teach me about pain. He lifted the remote. Choose. Michael looked at Sarah. She was crying silently. Then he looked at Ethan. His son was whispering something. Daddy. Michael leaned forward. What? Ethan wiped his tears. Whatever happens, I love you. Michael broke down because he knew the truth. He could fight, he could beg, he could scream, but the clock was still moving. 12, 11, 10, and there was no escape.
The timer kept moving. 9, 8, 7. Michael looked at the two people he loved more than anything in the world. His hands were shaken. His heart was screaming at him not to choose. There has to be another way, he whispered. The masked man stepped closer. There isn't. Michael looked around the room desperately. The cameras, the wires, the machines, anything that could save them both, but nothing made sense. Sarah screamed through her tears. Michael! He looked at her. Listen to me. No, listen. Her voice broke. Save Ethan. Michael shook his head. I can't lose you. Sarah smiled sadly. You won't lose me. Tears rolled down her face. Because I will always be with you. Michael closed his eyes. The timer reached the final seconds. 4, 3. The masked man raised the remote. Time. Michael opened his eyes, and he made his choice. He pressed the button. A loud mechanical sound filled the warehouse. The chains moved. The cage holding Ethan slowly rose upward. Michael released a breath he didn't know he was holding, but then he heard another sound, a heavy lock opening. Sarah's cage began moving downward. "No!" Michael screamed. "Sarah!" His wife looked up at him, but instead of anger, she smiled, a peaceful smile. "Take care of him." Michael shook his head violently. "No, no, there has to be a way." He pulled against the ropes until his wrists bled. The masked man stood silently, watching. Ethan screamed from above, "Daddy! Mommy!" Michael fought harder. Then suddenly, the masked man stepped toward the controls. His hand stopped. Something changed in his expression. For the first time, he looked afraid. This wasn't supposed to happen. Michael looked at him. "What?" The man stared at the machine. "I only wanted you to choose." The room became silent. "You were supposed to feel the pain I felt." Michael's eyes narrowed. "Then stop it." The man looked at the damaged system. "I can't." He rushed toward the controls. The machine was breaking apart. The revenge he planned for years was becoming something even he couldn't control. Sarah's cage dropped lower. Michael screamed her name. The masked man grabbed the emergency lever. It didn't move. "I can't stop it." Michael looked at him with rage. "You did this." The man froze. Then slowly he lowered his head. "I know." For the first time, Michael saw something behind the mask. Not a monster, a broken man. The masked man grabbed a metal bar and forced the machine upward. "Help me!" Michael stared at him. After everything, after kidnapping his family, after forcing him into the hardest moment of his life, he was asking for help. But Michael didn't hesitate, because Sarah had taught him something years ago. Pain does not have to create more pain. He pulled against the ropes again. The masked man cut them loose. Michael fell to the ground and immediately ran toward the machine. Together, they pulled the emergency system. The chains stopped. The cage stopped inches above the pit. Seconds later, police sirens filled the building. The police had tracked the location after Sarah's phone signal was discovered. The warehouse was surrounded. The masked man didn't run. He simply stood there, broken, tired. When the police took him away, he looked back at Michael. "I hated you for 7 years." Michael said nothing. The man swallowed. "But you still saved me." Michael looked towards Sarah and Ethan. "I didn't do it for you. I did it because I refused to become someone like you." Months later, life slowly returned to normal. The scars remained, the memories remained, but Sarah and Ethan were alive. One night, Ethan sat beside Michael. "Daddy." "Yes, son?" "What if someone forced you to choose again?" Michael looked at him. "What would you do?" Michael thought about that night, the fear, the pain, the impossible decision. Then he answered honestly, "I would fight harder to find another way." Ethan smiled. "Because you love both of us?" Michael hugged him. "Because both of you are my world." Some choices leave scars that never disappear. Some moments stay with you forever. But the greatest test of love is not choosing who matters more. It is refusing to stop fighting for the people you love. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below. What would you have done if you were in Michael's position? Your answer could be the hardest decision you ever had to make.